Niska name is Hichlachun Kwach, which means morning sun. Wap Galt Sap, which is the name of the building, is a very important house for the community in that the word Wap means house as a physical structure, but it also means house, which is a place that houses all of the souls of the ancestors. It's a place also for the future and where everyone can feel safe. So Wap Galt Sap is the house of the community, and that means that everyone in this community now has a house where they can come. Maybe students in their first year can come here and feel that they're maybe not so far away from home. It's also a place where they can meet with their elders and learn about tradition. This building, I think, has the potential to make a significant community change and also to be a place where you come in and you feel like a different person in some ways. It has that spiritual aspect. Well, when we brought the poles over, I think that I was still in my own mind working because I was thinking about how the pathway itself had been designed for this procession to accommodate enough people so that with the big arc so that we could all come through the front door. The main building is supported by the exterior walls and these 4 columns here, which are then bridged across and supported with a buildup of timbers and poles the way it would have been done traditionally. One of the key aspects of working with that is that things have to be notched together to understand exactly how these large logs are going to shrink over time. Also, the clear story element, or what is called in Smalgiach the Allah, was a very important part of traditional design because that was how fresh air and light would come into the building. In the center of the building is the fire where heat is provided, and as well that was a place where the food for the extended family would be cooked. So fresh air was brought in from the Allah, which was up at the top, and the Allah would be, a member at that time, would be a piece of wood that could be pulled down with a rope so that it could be adjusted. And therefore you could get, depending on the winds, you could get just the right amount of fresh air coming in, fresh air coming out, and could also adjust for light, hopefully keeping the rain out also. Apparently sometimes a little bit of snow would come in, but generally you could adjust for the weather by this movable element. So that became an important part of the modern structure as well. We wanted light to come in from above because, again, that was how it would be done traditionally, but also because then it warms the space with this additional source of light. The Wilhosk Niska Institute, or WWNI, which is the Niska University, has a new campus that Nancy designed for the now 25-year-old university, having an affiliation agreement with the University of Northern British Columbia. The main building, daycare center, residences, and science and technology buildings are based on the Niska Longhouse tradition, where elders have, for countless generations, imparted their wisdom to younger citizens. Nancy Macken has worked extensively with Indigenous communities to reconstruct their ancient architectural wisdom for the purposes of sharing the wisdom across generations and to improve understanding of how new buildings can also enhance activities on the land. Examples include this igloo constructed with Inuit knowledge holders and students in April 2016 in Cambridge Bay, Nunavut, and the willow frame structure constructed the previous November in Inuvik, Northwest Territories. The Lachazap Daycare Center and Playground are in the Niska village of Lachazap on the far northern tip of the British Columbia coastline. Wood poles and an exposed roof structure express the cultural importance of wood in Niska history. The daycare center borrows its shed-roofed form from the cookhouse structures used in traditional Ulukan fishing camps, and the hyperbolic paraboloid form of the play structure references how young people represent the future while retaining wisdom from their elders. The Coast Salish people of southwestern British Columbia, including the Tsawwassen First Nation, were architectural innovators. Their longhouses were the first curtain wall buildings to be built anywhere in the world. The 2 linked longhouses of the Tsawwassen Youth Centre represent the 2 age groups within the centre.
The younger set, from kindergarten to grade 7, will have a large play space named the Otters. On the opposite side of the building, the teen longhouse contains a social space called the Wolf Pack. Architectural artwork that will add to the oral histories encoded in the design include carved welcome poles depicting 2 young people, and 2 large cast glass windows depicting the stories that led to the room names that were carefully chosen and voted on by young Tsawwassen First Nations citizens.
Anthony Jameson Design Studio designs and creates custom kiln-cast architectural glass panels which meet aesthetic and engineered specifications. From our earliest recollections, we have been fascinated by the play of light. The dance of sunlight on the ocean's surface, the way light filters through the canopy in a forest, the way it penetrates underwater through a kelp forest, the way it is refracted through cut lead crystal. Light shapes the way we engage with the world. Working in glass, casting patterns and designs, allows us to explore the changing way light tells a story. We create custom work both in-house and in collaboration with First Nations artists, which exploits texture, pattern, and brilliance. We strive to execute First Nations designs both accurately, but also in a way that broadens the dialogue created through the visual language of art and expression. A commission for the creation of an original cast glass panel always begins with a conversation. We believe that when we are creating work for clients, we are also engaging in a relationship-building exercise. We develop initial concept sketches based on the conversations we have with our clients. These sketches are refined with our clients until a fully realized concept sketch has been developed. The next step in the process is to accurately render the sketch onto tracing paper as a full-sized, fully detailed master drawing. The drawing is presented to the client and reviewed. Any changes requested are made to this drawing, and the master drawing is approved. The creation of the Salish Sea Panel. Once the master drawing has been accepted, the image is transferred onto a material which looks and feels like felt. This material is manufactured as a gasket material used in industry to separate metal components subjected to high temperatures. The mold material is shaped using a variety of techniques, including direct cutting, sanding, ragging, punching out of shapes, and pressing into the material. In the case of the Salish Sea Panel, the mold was cut out, leaving a positive and negative image. The negative image was attached to a flat base for imprinting the design. The kiln has been designed and built to allow access from all sides. The base of the kiln is like a large table on which sits a bed of sand. The sand is leveled and allows for patterning in addition to the felt-like material. The negative image is imprinted onto the sand. The sand is then sculpted to create the mountains and valleys in as accurate a manner as possible. The design is keyed to allow the prepared glass to be brought and matched up with the prepared negative space. Once the patterning is complete, it is covered with powdered plaster of Paris, which acts as a release agent. The next step is to attach the positive prepared mold material to the prepared glass panel. The glass panel has been cut from 10 mm thick annealed float glass cut to the size required. The glass is then brought to the kiln and carefully laid upon the prepared sand bed mold, ensuring that everything has been lined up perfectly. The glass is given a final cleaning, and then the kiln is fired to a slumping temperature. The glass soaks at this temperature, and the design is transferred to the glass. After the glass has been properly annealed and cooled, it is removed and cleaned in preparation for the next stages of its process, which may include water jet cutting, edge polishing, sandblasting, tempering and face polishing, fabrication into insulated glazed units, and installation.